Welcome to my mathematics class. Today we want to look at indices, a continuation on the last lesson which we had. In the last lesson we looked at the product when we have the similar base. We also looked at the quotient. Now in this lesson we want to look at the zero index law. So our objectives are two. We explain the zero index law, and then we explain the negative index law. So let's move straight to the zero index law. As the title suggests, the index is a zero. So how we get to that is what we want to look at. You recall that a power x divided by a power y gives us a raised to x minus y. Now we want to look at a situation where this x and the y are similar, and that is a situation where we divide a raised to x by a raised to x. Following the rule that we came up with, we will see that a raised to x divided by a raised to x will be equal to a raised to x subtract x, and that gives us a raised to 0. Put in other words, we could write a raised to x over a raised to x, which we can divide here so that this and this cancel and we get 1. We can therefore say that a raised to x divided by a raised to x is equal to a raised to 0, which is equal to 1. A raised to 0 equal to 1 is another way of saying any number raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. If we are given any number, let's say 2 raised to 0, 3 raised to 0, 100 raised to 0, any number, we can as well say or replace that number with 1. We want now to go to our next law, which we call the negative index law. Again, from the objective here, we would like to explain this one. A good understanding of this one helps us see why. For example, when we are giving the unit of density, we say it is kilogram per meter cubed. And then we write it also as you see, in this case, the m has been raised to a negative index. So the objective in this, in our lesson, the second objective is to explain how we end up saying m raised to the power of negative 3. So, and that's what we call the negative index. Let us go back to the law we looked at last time and see what happens when x in our law is 0. So let's look at this situation. Now we are saying, instead of talking of a raised to x, we talk about a raised to 0. we can see clearly then that when we apply this law, the quotient law, we will get 0 minus y, which is also equal to a raised to negative y. But just like we did in this case, suppose we wrote a power 0 divided by we have already seen that a power 0 is 1, and therefore we can write this one in a different way. We can write it as a raised to y. But we also know that this is equal to a raised to negative y. If we take these last two, we will get now what we call the negative index law. That 1 over a raised to y is equal to a raised to negative y. So whenever we see number raised to a negative index, it also means 1 over. And that's why kilogram per meter cubed becomes kilogram meter raised to negative 3. We want to stop here. In our next lesson, we are going to look at raising a power to a power. So subscribe so that you can join the lesson as we discuss the next concept, that one of raising a power to a power.